Hey everybody, and welcome to my Nierychlo online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. You can see my arm is sticking to the table here. Yeah, that's from the last episode. If you didn't see it, check it out. It's right below this one. Yeah, I had heels on, and an axe, and we savored some sparkling. It was all over the place. What the heck kind of episode. But it's all the fault of the View Winery. Here's a newer winery, up and comer, doing something kind of cool in the Okanagan. It's been a state-owned winery for many generations, Kelowna area. Beautiful view of the lakes, that's where they get their name from. But something to do with stuffing a high heel in a bottle. So basically all their marketing, everything they do, has to do with red high heels. We can let them have an appearance back on the episode here. We'll put them off to the side. Anyway, I said this in the previous show, Jennifer, their president, dropped those off for me. We're going to get right into their wines. These are their reds. We tasted their whites before. They're 2008 Pinotage. Now, Pinotage. How many of you have heard of Pinotage? I'm sure you've heard of Pinot Noir. Well, Pinotage is not too far off. Well, let's call it the inbred cousin of Pinot Noir. Pinotage is the South African variety. South Africa is... It's the most planted grape in South Africa, or one of. I think Chenin Blanc's up there as well for the whites. Pinotage is probably, I'm not going to try and pull a percentage out, but a lot of the red wines come from South Africa are Pinotage. What is Pinotage? It is a crossbreed of Pinot Noir and Cinsault, two grape varieties. So you tend to find a little bit more of a structured Pinot Noir. It's not so elegant, not so soft as the standard Pinot Noir used to. I think this is probably the only winery in BC doing Pinotage. I think there's maybe one or two other ones back east in Toronto area experimenting with it. Anyway, let's see how it goes from the View Winery. So you can notice the color right away. It's similar to Pinot Noir, nice and light, see right through it. Decent looking wine. On the nose. Okay. Like I said, variety you don't see in BC often. And here's a smell you don't smell often. You know what? I would probably peg this as a BC wine, but I'd have no idea what the heck it is. It does have some similar BC aromas, but on the nose for red wine, you're getting more of that, let's put it this way, kind of tart cranberry raspberry as far as the fruit goes. A lot of those red berry fruits with something different. I'm going to put it kind of like radish meets something kind of vegetal, something kind of green smelling, like green, maybe celery stalk, something along those lines. Now, another signature of Pinotage that you often find in South African Pinotage is the smell of like bananas or pennies, like copper or Band-Aid, old Band-Aid. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. I don't really smell much of those on here. I can get subtle hints of that kind of weirdness from Pinotage, which I myself find extremely interesting. I think Pinotage is a very interesting variety. Let's see how it tastes. All right. Definitely nice, bright, tart. Tart, racing red wine. Like, this is a beautiful acidity to it. A bright, racing acidity. Cuts right down your tongue. This would do really well with your cheeses, things like that. That cranberry raspberry comes through. Actually, yeah, the cranberry raspberry really comes through. It reminds me of, you know, those cranberry juices you can buy, a cranberry cocktail. Reminds me of that. A lot of that with kind of a green, savory finish. Again, that kind of radish, a little bit of vegetal play comes in there. A little bit of kind of a minerality, almost something kind of dirt level. Interesting wine. I'm going to call it a little bit more of a nerd level wine because it's so different. It's not the wine you're used to. It's still approachable. A lot of people would like this wine, but different. So we'll put it on my wine rating scale. I'm going to put it in the realm of decent with a slash or a hint of interesting. Put it that way. Decent and interesting. Definitely different for a BC wine. All right, the second red I've got from the View Winery. The second one is their red shoe. Sorry, the Pinotage is about 20 bucks a bottle. Second one, the 2009 red shoe. Let's go for a bit of a rinse here. Now you'll notice right off the bat, I don't know if you can pick up on the camera, but I see it right away. This has got a darker color to it. More of a purple color. Reason being, this is their red shoe. Their main grape variety in here is still the Pinotage. They're blending it with Merlot, giving it a darker color. I'm really curious what it does blended with Merlot. That's So again, something you don't see very often. 15 bucks for this wine could be some value. Let's see what happens. So on the nose. Ooh. Wow. Okay, that just completely transformed the wine, the blend here. That cranberry raspberry realm is like a subtle, distant hint in this wine. This is like, this reminds me of a black cherry preserve. That's it, like black cherry jam. I'm getting piles of that. Like almost a sweet black cherry jam. Get subtle hints of almost like a walnut meets kind of something slightly nutty. Probably from their oak program. I'm assuming they're using a lot of French oak or something on here. Yeah, a little bit of earthiness, but a lot of cherry preserve. Interesting. Wow. That's a juicy wine. It's a very juicy wine. I'm getting on the palate. It's very similar to the nose. Piles of, it's almost like, I don't think there's residual sugar in here, but there's a sweetness that's displayed because of the fruitiness. There's so much fruit. It's just super juicy black cherry preserve. On the palate, you're getting a little bit more of that tartness, which is also probably making it seem juicier. A little bit of that tartness of the kind of the cranberry. Yeah, with a, actually, yeah, we're meeting that vanilla realm, kind of vanilla oak, a little bit of nuttiness. This, again, it's not going to have the slash interesting to it. This falls into our realm of decent. This is just a very decent, subtle sipper. For 15 bucks, I think you could bring this to any kind of gathering and it'll go along fairly well. It's approachable, it's unoffensive, just kind of a fun wine, put it that way. Anyway, the View Winery, thank you for the last 2 episodes. See what everybody out there makes of them. High heels kicking around. But yeah, this is what they're supposed to do, just like the label says. So everybody out there, thanks so much for watching this one. Remember, wine, depretentious-sized, and we'll see you in the next episode.